Yeah, this has got to be the best free campsite that I've ever found. I know I said that once before 2 years ago, but this place doesn't even compare. It is unbelievable. This was an amazing place to camp for the night. I still am in awe. I can't even believe that a place like this exists. Like I said at the end of the last video, it's basically like at the top of a mountain for the most part, and there are 360-degree views like all the way around in every direction. Right now this morning the sun is shining on this beautiful reservoir off in the distance, surrounded by mountains. I mean, it is absolutely insane. Like I said towards the end of the last video, this spot is located on BLM land just south of the Mendocino National Forest. Mendocino, maybe Mendocino. It's pretty much in Central California, right on the edge of the Central Valley as you get more towards Northern California, which is where we're heading later today. There were really not too many people out here last night. There were a couple, you can see a couple campfires off in the distance, so there's probably a couple other sites throughout the area, and there's access to the reservoir down there. I think a couple of cars drove by this morning off the main road, but otherwise it was really, really quiet. Cell signal was also really great, so that was an added benefit. The sunset was pretty unreal last night, and then after the sun went down, the night sky was probably one of the most amazing night skies that I've ever seen. It was pitch black out here. I really like to experiment with astrophotography. I don't really get the chance to do it very often, but last night I think I took some of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken of the night sky and the Milky Way in the background, so that was really awesome as well. We really need to hit the road this morning, but I'm kind of having a hard time leaving this place because it's so amazing. Liza has a flight out of Seattle though in about a week or so, so we kind of need to get back on the road so we can get there. Liza wasn't very impressed with the redwood trees, but I thought they were pretty cool. We ended up driving for like 5 or 6 hours again today. Definitely another pretty long day behind the wheel. Made it pretty much to Northern California. We followed the 101 through the Avenue of the Giants and everything like that. I had done that once before 3 years ago, so it was pretty cool to get back there and check that out. And we went through Eureka and then kind of cut back inland a little bit more towards the Three Rivers National Forest. That's where I am right now. This is the campsite. So dinner tonight is pretty simple. We're just reheating the leftover cauliflower tikka masala from yesterday. Although this morning I was having some issues with the fridge and I was like playing with the dial and I wasn't actually looking at it, and I just realized that for the entire day today the fridge has been on freezer mode, so everything is frozen, including the food and all of our drinks. So hopefully it thaws out in time for us to eat it right now. What do you think of the cauliflower tikka masala?
I think it was really good.
You think you're just being nice?
I'm not. It was good. I've never had it before.
I think I kind of like this part of Northern California. The last time I was in this part of the state, I think I just kind of drove straight through back in 2016. I don't even think I really stopped much. So it's been kind of nice to be able to hang out for a few days and really explore the northern part of California. You know, when I think of California, I think of San Francisco, I think of the Bay Area, I think of Los Angeles and San Diego. These places have like millions and millions of people. You can barely move around in a lot of these places, but up here, there's not a soul around. Last night, we camped here. There were a couple of guys that came down to go fishing in the evening. They left by 7:30 or so, and we haven't seen anyone since then. The night sky here last night was even darker and more beautiful than it was 2 nights ago when we were camped up on top of that mountain. And at the time, I thought that that was the most beautiful night sky that I'd ever seen in my life until I got the camera out last night. So just a really incredible place, and the fact that it is so quiet and peaceful makes it pretty special. Made it back to the ocean here. We drove along this really windy but also really beautiful road. It kind of crossed up into a mountain range and then back down. It wasn't really on maps at all. Like, I don't think that was the suggested route via navigation, but I saw it and I just kind of went for it. And fortunately, it wasn't closed. We got to see some more redwoods and everything like that. And now we are just parked off the 101. We kind of intersected with the 101, and we're gonna hop on that today. And the plan is to go up to Oregon. It'll be my first time in Oregon in like over 3 years at this point, or just about 3 years. And I only spent about a day in Portland, so I have not seen much of Oregon in my life. And Liza's never been there as well. That's a big reason why she went on this trip in the first place and wanted to do this trip. So it's been a few days at this point now, and I guess we've just kind of slowly been meandering our way up the Oregon coast. And it's been pretty nice to be able to explore here. The first night we ended up staying with Ron and Linda. I know that I'd mentioned that in one of the last videos when we were building out the new van conversion, that they were going to be doing a road trip, and they happened to be right here on the Oregon coast as well. So they had a campsite. We stayed with them for one night, got to hang out. It was really great to be able to see them again. Thank you, Ron and Linda, for hosting us. And then after that, we found another site the next night, just kind of in the national forest, not too far from the coastline. It seems like there's a lot of camping around here in this area. It's kind of like RV or paradise or something like that. There's free campsites and then also paid ones as well. And it's pretty easy to find somewhere to stay for the night, so that really hasn't been too much of a problem. Got to try the famous Dungeness crab cakes yesterday as well. Those were pretty good, right?
Delicious.
Yeah, not so bad. They're a little expensive, but definitely worth it to try once. I think that this area is pretty known for those crabs, I guess. I don't know. Right?
They are, absolutely.
Oh, it is? Okay.
That's great. Very
Big whip up.
That was crushed.
I don't know how to dive. That's how you do it?
Yeah, just like that. So Liza's been doing the van life here for what, like 10 days now or so? Almost 2 weeks at this point. And she had never done anything like this before, like never lived out of a van or a car or pretty much anything, right? Just living a regular normal life. She has an apartment, a house, you know, that kind of thing.
I think I've been camping like 5 times.
Like total?
Yes.
Including the amount of times we've been camping on this trip or before this?
No, before this.
Before this, okay. So what's it been like? Like what's van life been like for you? Adjusting to it, you know, and that whole process?
Definitely the beginning, it was easier because I was fresh out of the, I guess, materialistic life.
Sure.
And then I guess it definitely has gotten harder as I've gotten further into my trips.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, you haven't been able to shower as much as you normally do, like you said, just because we can only shower at gyms. We've been camping like out in remote areas really frequently. And that kind of like, you kind of had like a poison oak infection going on at one point, and like, so we've been trying to shower more the past few days to try to deal with that, because that's been kind of a pain. But I think that was more of a coincidence. I don't think that whenever you do van life, you automatically get poison oak or anything like that. But I mean, in her case, that did happen. I don't know.
That's a camping.
That was a camping thing. Yeah.
Hashtag camping life.
Right. So you'd say the showering thing has probably been like the hardest thing to get used to? I mean, what else has been kind of challenging for you?
I mean, I take 2 showers a day, so that's been kind of tough. I guess eating's a little hard for me too. I have a lot of, I cook on a stove every day, and I have a lot of ingredients to put into it and different means of cooking. So when you go into the grocery store and you're trying to figure out what you're gonna have for dinner, and it's like, oh, well, we can't do that, we can't do this, or that's gonna take a while, or, I mean, that's definitely more difficult, but I think, if you created a recipe book of things.
Yeah, you could totally plan around it, but
yeah,
you do.
exactly.
We have limitations. I mean, we only have the Instant Pot, we only have so much power if it's a cloudy day, like tonight it's supposed to start raining, so we need to be smart about what we make for dinner tonight and things like that, it's just, I guess it's just a lot of things to think about. And
so something that surprised me is actually I've never come on a trip with anything less than a suitcase, and I came with just a duffel bag of clothes, and I found that I actually don't need the amount of clothes that I did pack, which in comparison to any other 2-week trip is actually a lot less clothes than I've ever brought. So I think I'm kind of surprised what I actually wear, and how, you give it the old, like, how's this smell? Still fresh. So, you can wear it again for a couple days. And
right.
That's actually surprised me. So I think that, maybe if someone was worried about, like, how many clothes, trying to save space, but you actually don't really need that many things. So that's interesting.
I feel like that's a pretty common thing, a common mistake that new van lifers make, and folks that are getting into this lifestyle. They bring too much stuff with them, especially clothes. They'll bring way more clothes than they need, and then they realize they don't need nearly the amount of stuff that they have, and they start getting rid of things. And obviously you're not going to start getting rid of things, you're just going to fly back to New Hampshire. But even so, I mean, maybe for your next trip, you might not need as many things as you originally thought you would have needed.
Definitely.
So what do you think? You're going to move into a van anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to convert to van life. But after this experience, I honestly might look into tiny home.
By the way, this has been the Multnomah Falls hike here, just outside of Portland. I guess it's like kind of the Columbia River Gorge area, or just about that area. Been a fun little hike, really beautiful waterfall. Basically hike all the way to the top of it. Doesn't quite compare to Yosemite, where we were the other day though. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to Yosemite?
3.
It's still been really awesome though. It is an absolutely gorgeous day today. Plan for the rest of the day today is to head over to Washington State. Shouldn't take too long though. It's literally right on the other side of the Columbia River, which we're driving alongside on I-84 right now. We're gonna find some free camping over there, and then tomorrow maybe explore some of the national parks, maybe Rainier, possibly Mount St. Helen, and then maybe even Olympic National Park as well. So should be a pretty busy day, but that's all gonna be part of the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to y'all in that one.
Big whip above. This is for real. It's a practice.
Is that a practice? Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to y'all in the next video. Ready? Just like, try it.